Welcome to STSPN.com. We're live, baby, coming to you from Everett Community College tonight, where we have the Glacier Peak Grizzlies being hosted by the Everett Seagulls. This should be a fabulous game. This is John McLean, Ron Henthorne, and Keith Neely, along with our illustrious producer, Todd Elvick. Quickly, the Pledge of Allegiance. Game's almost ready to start. Ron, did you get the refs tonight? Who are the sheriffs?
Hold on.
Wait. Number 3.
Yeah, we've got the our old friend Mo Khan down there in the middle with the ball, tossing it up right now. Close to this side of the court, we got Don Johnson on the far side. Mike Maines will be calling that far side tonight. So our old buddies from way back when, back in the court tonight.
So the goals coming out, they will be wearing the home white jerseys here on the home of the Trojans at Everett Community College, of course, out of the NWAACC.
Yeah, this is a wonderful facility.
A brand new facility. Of course, they're getting theirs gym renovated, the Seagulls in Everett High School. Probably long overdue. If you ask a lot of the folks that have graduated from Everett, that's something they've been looking forward to for a long time. And Nikki Fossey will be jumping against Katie Headington, and Fossey gets the best of the jump. However, it's tipped right to Darian Riley, and the sophomore guard or the junior guard here will come up and hand it to her sister Sydney as they get things started, and they dump right underneath into the post to Amber Hagar. She's the one that they're trying to get the ball to establish the paint early in this one. That is one of the keys to the game that head coach out of Brian Hill out of John Lowe in his 6th season mentioned to us in the pregame interview, which we'll get to in a little bit.
Taylor Baird, capital T, able to stop that first play by the Seagulls. Of course, then turns over the ball at the other end.
And of course, in any level of play, that's the thing you're going to have to watch out for, and especially when you get into the march toward the postseason play, the last final 2 weeks of the season, turnovers are going to be paramount.
Nice lefty.
And that is the left-handed Sydney Riley. Of course, you're going to hear a lot about the Rileys because there's 2 of them on the floor. It's both sisters. One, the senior Sydney, who just scored there. Darian Riley, her younger sister, runs the point.
Well, if she's left-handed, that wasn't that impressive.
She's a lefty and can score pretty much on either side of the court, but prefers that left hand. There's the bucket, ties it up to 2 here with 6:45 to go in the first quarter. There's Darian. Turns and spins, pops it back out. Top, they'll reload. Amber Hagar drifting outside. There's the lefty, the runner off the glass. No good. Good defense. An offensive rebound by Hagar, and that is ripped down by Manning. Sawyer will bring the ball up, and Sarah now comes to the front. They're bringing it across the timeline with that yo-yo dribble, trying to get a screen. Baird to Fossey over the top. Gets pushed a little bit underneath, and that'll be the whistle on Amber Hagar.
That was a pretty light touch there. I don't know if I would have blown the whistle on that one.
And it's a little interesting, John, when we get into these last couple of weeks of the season. Of course, all the gals have been trying to get their games adjusted and trying to play toward the playoffs. Referees do the same exact thing.
Oh, absolutely. And we've really had good reffing this season, especially in the West Coast.
There is Sarah. The pass around a man-to-man out into the zone defense, trying to clamp down. Manning with a long 3, in and out. Fossey with a one hand, gets a paw on it, but steps on the end line. It will be out of bounds. Back to the goals. 6:04 to go first quarter. We've tipped one in on each side, 2-2. Deuces apiece here at Everett Community College.
Yeah, GP and a man. A little uncharacteristic. They've been playing a lot of zone this year.
And, of course, you got a couple of very quick athletes out on the perimeter in those Riley sisters who can also knock it down from long range. Both of them not afraid to pull the trigger from downtown. There's a foul on the floor.
That'll be on Sarah.
Sarah Smith, the flying squirrel. She should have no problem keeping up with the...
Sarah is so incredibly fast. Absolutely.
Of course, she says she's not
a
that
speed
fast.
demon.
That's why she doesn't run track, she says, because those girls are really fast.
Well, basketball fast certainly has its place. There's a nice pop back out top. A little 15-footer to Sydney Taggart. And the sophomore is on the board with her first 2 points of the game.
Nice feed into Big Nick for an easy bucket. Nice pass by
somebody.
Nikki Fossey also showing a little speed there. There's Riley, Darian Riley, and nothing but the backboard there to put it right back up and off with a offensive rebound and a putback. Was not successful. Amber Hager.
Yeah, Amber needs to put those in. Those are easy weak side buckets. That's the garbage you just need to clean up.
She's really improved her game over the last couple of years. Much a more strong player. Got a lot better court sense, and I think she's going to get whistled for a foul. No, it's out top on the screen. A foul called, and that is one of those things, the emphasis points, of course, that they have made over the course of this year with the referees, that we were witnessed the foul on the screen. You've got to really hold those screens for a good 2 seconds. If you're just there and gone, a lot of times they're going to whistle. Of course, hand checks, we've had lots of conversations about that. The other point of emphasis on the refereeing side.
Just like the State Patrol and the DUI emphasis.
Yeah.
Sydney Riley with the pass in and out of the hands of her big post underneath. And Hager can't grip the ball and pull it down, and it'll be another turnover. And Everett struggling right now about every other possession, getting a shot off.
Ball game tied up 4-4, 4:25 left in the first.
Baird now kick out to Smith. Smith with a little dribble back to the top of the key. Smith now reverses dribble, finds Baird top of the key, off the backboard. The bank is open.
She called it. I heard her.
And Taylor strokes one home for a 2-point lead, now 6-4. Not a lot of scoring early. A lot of good defense, a lot of teams both teams I think, trying to push the ball into the paint.
Feeling each other out right now, Keith.
And you only play each other one time a year. That's something that, of course, they trade film. Coaches trade film so much better than they used to with the huddles and some of the online programs.
Watching
You're able
STSBN.com.
That'll help too, and that wasn't around, a couple, 2-3 years ago. You were having to go to the VHS tapes and exchanges, and now they can just go right online and look and get a good beat on what the other team is doing, and it's so important when you only play once a year when the South meets the North. Of course, next year that's an entirely different matter with a lot of teams coming down from the 4A that you won't be very comfortable with.
Change all things up. I mean, Linwood going back to 3A. It's going to be
Edmonds Woodway coming down, Arlington coming down in the north.
Yeah.
Could be a very interesting and very wide open 3A conference here in the Western Conference. Sawyer reloads to Smith.
New shot clock.
Manning. Mensing dumps it down into Baird. Little scoop, little shuffle up with that left hand. Got a good look at it. A little bit off balance, but not a bad shot for her, one she normally hits.
Couldn't get the roll.
And here comes Darian Riley now being guarded man-to-man by Smith. That is a good matchup. Two quick players.
Mensing on the floor.
And that leaves open a 18-footer. Count it. Sydney Taggart drops the rock from 18 feet. And a foul call. A hold underneath. And I didn't check on the march to the bench. Are they going to award the basket? I believe they are. As Manning leaves and Rasmussen comes in. Natalie Rasmussen, 5'6", the sophomore. There's the shot by Hager, and it is well short. Did not get her legs under, and I believe Fossey whistled for the rebound, the foul on the rebound. As back to the line goes Sydney Riley. Riley, lanky and lean. And very deceptive.
What's she weighing in at?
Wet?
Yeah, soaking wet.
Maybe about a buck 60, be my guess.
Way up here in the nosebleed section.
It's hard to tell.
It's hard to tell.
Very adept shooter, of course, with that left hand. Hard to guard against, if you're guarding a kid that you're so used to seeing right-handed. Very few lefties. Of course, one of them notable is Jasmine Edwards of Linwood. There's a beautiful feed underneath. And giving the point right back to the gal that dropped the dime as Mensing heads to the rack.
10-8. Everett on top. 2:34 left in the first half, or first quarter.
Eddington tries to drive along the baseline, is given the free lane, the free pass, but can't wrap around the reverse lay-in. A little bit out of control, which is why she didn't get the whistle. And another turnover now as Everett's going to have to pull down just a bit. Mensing down in the corner, firing up is Sarah Smith. No good, off the back iron. And Headington will just watch it go wide and out of bounds. And that's a shot that Sarah certainly is given the green light on. We've seen her hit a number of those. And you hate to pull the reins in too early in a game where a three or perhaps two can bust you open wide.
Yeah, she's just warming up. She'll get things rolling.
Well, I noticed they pulled Fossey out early. She's got 2 fouls, and I think that they're worried about her towards the end of the game.
Yeah, you're going to need her in the stretch.
Yeah, and right now, honestly, I don't know that Everett's shown you anything that you can't handle height-wise or down underneath with the group you've got on here.
Baird for rotating the girls around.
Well, Baird certainly doing a good job on her side of the court. And Garner, who's just come in, doing well at the other side. There's the bucket.
Kiana a little outsized on that one.
Everett with the 4-point lead now. 12-8 with 2 minutes remaining here in the second quarter at Everett
Mensing
Community College. Mensing just hits the back iron. Got a good look at it. Was on line. Got plenty of legs underneath. And that right there is where you miss a Fossey body.
Yes.
Coming off the rebound right there. There's the stroke. Sydney Riley with the bucket, a 3, and that will put the lead to 15-8 with just above 1:30 to go now, first quarter. Baird looking in. She'll pump fake. Had Haggard off her feet for just a moment there. And Haggard now will try to go back and stop the big body of pretty much the small forward, large forward. There's a bucket. Boy, don't count that one out.
Yeah.
Rasmussen drops one in. And a minute to go. The lead is only 4 by the goals. And now we'll see an off-balance shot just a little bit. Hager with a rebound. Baird gets the swat.
Excellent defense there.
And here comes Smith up front. Passing it to Garner. Long 3 on the way. She's hit one. Rasmussen can't draw anything but iron there. Riley with the swat on her side. And now will carry the basketball as she knew it.
Mensing with some good defense there. Unable to get that shot off. Good rebound, though, to start that.
Glacier Peak, well, in transition, got the ball up that left-hand side, found Rasmussen right where, spot on where she hit the 3 just a few trips before.
Yeah, Hill likes to push the ball, and he loves having Rasmussen in there. She's a really smart, headsy player.
Smith to Baird. Baird pump fake. He'll drive in with that left hand right to the rack. Scores it. She got around 2. And Baird puts it home. 15-13. Cuts the lead to only 2 now.
She drove the lane like she was a fullback on that one.
Darian Riley picks up her dribble and walks twice before finding an open sister in the corner, but is whistled for the foul. Or not the foul, rather, but the turnover. Smith will leave. Batkin comes in, 5'9".
For another 3-ball shooter.
Only a freshman. Mensing also comes out.
So they got the long-range guns in right now with 22 seconds left.
And Coach Hill directing traffic, only allowing 1 shot. It makes sense. Shot clock is off. In the corner it goes. They get it to Baird. She'll step back a step. Guys, a girl underneath. Reverse lane. Count it. Garner hits the bucket and ties this thing up as the first quarter ends and a wild one flies. Whoa! D. Riley. Yeah, a little ooh and ah from the crowd over there.
Boy, look at these fancy backboards with the red lights lighting up.
Love that. Love that.
It's the big time.
This is sweet.
It's like the equivalent of coming up and playing in the Memorial Stadium for baseball and getting to play in a real major league park.
Yeah.
When you can play your entire season on a college court. How do you think that's going to transition for Everett, being able to play on a court like this, and then potentially if you get a chance to look at a district run or a state run, how does a court play into things, John?
Yeah, well, I mean, these are bigger courts, slightly wider, a little bit longer. So they might be in better shape, actually, because they've been running this long court the entire season. But, when it compacts, it'll compact their game a little bit. They're used to having things a little more wide open. So it could be to their benefit or maybe slight detriment. I doubt it'll really play in. But.
Glacier Peak doesn't seem to be anything but energized, especially after coming back being down 15-8 and going on a 7-0 run to tie things up to start this quarter.
Yeah, they're not afraid of it for sure.
So
they think they're going to win this ball game.
Quarter number 2 knotted at 15, and you got to believe that after what happened in the district championship game, you go in number 1, you play a number 3 Seagull team, and of course every set of circumstances we could talk about for probably the rest of this ball game about what happened in that one, John. But 68-58 the final result. And if you're Peak right now, you got to come in with a little bit of a chip on your shoulder.
Yeah, absolutely. They got a little something to prove.
So the first 2 possessions of the second quarter result in turnovers. And you can bet that will be one of those chalkboard points in the locker room at halftime.
Coaches do not like turnovers.
Well, on this time of season when you're trying to make a run, of course, if you're Glacier Peak, you've only got 2 losses to your name. 4 points the difference in those losses.
Yep.
And a possession or 2 can really make a difference. And if you're turning the ball over 2 more times than you're used to, that's 2 possessions. And there's the foul on Barrett on the drive as Hager got her with a little push underneath.
Capital T going to the charity stripe.
I got to tell you that when we saw Everett play at the winter tournament
against Jackson,
I was really impressed with their play. I got to tell you, that was one of the best games I've seen all year.
And that game as Taylor misses the first of the free throws.
Well, Everett's a good team. They got a bunch of good athletes. They're well coached. They have a nice program. I mean, you expect them to be good.
But really against a Jackson team right now who's making their way through the Wesco 4A. Has only 1 loss in league, and that to the Edmonds Woodway Warriors. Hill has yet to play Linwood, the Royals. And, of course, that will be a tough one for them. But that team that really is a good 4A team, Everett was in that one for 3 quarters. And here comes Baird. As Darian Riley has a little interruption and gets her on the way in. I don't think she'll be whistled for the foul. As Taylor, great body control heading into that left-hand side of the lane.
She was having fun. She thought she was a point guard there for a second.
Well, and avoids the contact as Riley stabs at her and then splits the double team in order to get close to the rack. It was amazing she was able to get there, let alone get the ball up in the air. And of course, you've got to capitalize on the free throw line.
All the bigs want to dribble and shoot 3-pointers.
Barrett has been there already and has yet to hit a free throw tonight. 0 for 3. 4th one on the way. Can't hit that one.
Long, consistently long.
And now a fight for the rebound will go out of bounds, and it will go Goals ball.
Kiana thought otherwise.
I think a lot of folks in the stands thought otherwise, but tough to see. And, of course, the hesitation, both referees kind of looked across the court at one another. Somebody wanted to make the other one make a call, and finally it was made. So that kind of lets you know that it wasn't well spotted.
Sheriff's got to make a decision.
There's the feed into Hager. She spins in on Bear, can't get it.
T.
And now Hager will go up with travel as Julie Ramirez, who's into the ball game for the Goals, 5'8", a senior, put her knees to the ground with the ball, and that will elicit a traveling violation.
Taylor Barrett's just shut down Amber Hager inside tonight, so far anyway.
Barrett, long and lanky and an extremely good defender with her feet. And boy, if you aren't able to allow Hager to get the ball or get the ball in a comfortable position, one that she's used to getting, of course, if you're a post player, you want to be down there on that block. You want that drop step that you've been working on your entire life. And Baird keeping her right outside, just enough outside the key, I believe, to keep her out of her comfort zone. We'll see if that continues the rest of the night.
Just stop her at the high post, keep her up top.
Dribble drive. Here's the Headington pump fake. I'd be surprised if she pulled the trigger out there, but we'll see. Headington again with it, looking down low.
GP still in a man, thinking they match up well against this Everett team.
Hager out of the ball game now. They'll find Headington. Right hand turns on Barrett, and there's the foul call, but look where the body position was. That time wasn't able to keep Headington out of the key, and a drop step will draw the foul.
Headington's got a little size on her, able to push her down in low.
Bears' first personal foul, fifth on the team, as Headington heads to the free throw line with 6:13 to go. We're still knotted at 15 apiece. And that's curious.
No score in this period yet.
Nobody has hit a free throw, and that's really what it's come down to. You haven't had any good shots from the perimeter, and nobody can buy a bucket from the free throw line until then. And Headington splits the pair, 16-15 goals. 6:08, so our first point, and it hasn't even been a field goal. 2 minutes have gone by.
Gets her own board, gets the putback. Finally, Sadie's on the board.
Mensing's
been quiet so far tonight.
Will give the Grizzlies their first lead since the first 2-0.
Headington with a weak side garbage bucket. You can make a living off that.
But she's doing something that Hager has struggled with up to this point in the ball game, and that is hit those easy bunnies when they come to you. There's the rebound by Darien. And now she'll ask for the basketball back, and Riley will head in. Between the wickets, right-hand dribble. Kick out top it goes. Overstreet. Back to Riley. Now a long pass out. Back to Overstreet. She'll look inside. Nothing there. Stolen away. And a jump ball.
Nicely done by Rasmussen. She's just in the way, heads up. That head is just on a swivel. She's looking around for stuff all the time.
Holstale substitution. Smith, Fossey, and Manning back into the game for Peak. And then Sydney Riley and Hager back in for the goals. There's Headington. Nice fall-away bucket in the face of Fossey. I don't think Fossey realized she had the ball until it was up.
Yeah, she was surprised at that one.
That's not normal, Nikki. Here's Manning now, right-hand dribble. Back out top. I'll swing it around. Smith looked in, but then found Riley right there in her grill. Kick out. Sawyer will dribble drive. Gets it up on the run. No good.
Rims off.
Sydney Riley with a rebound.
Hager doing a real good job of defending Big Nick.
3 on the way. Back iron. No good. Overstreet can't hit it. You can tell when Overstreet came into the ballgame, she was itching for a couple of attempts.
Sage with a quick one.
Beautiful shot from the short corner of Sadie Mensing. Comes back and cuts the lead to 1 to the goals there after Headington has kind of had her way with the paint.
Mensing's been having a great season, putting up a lot of points.
And there's a little stop and pop in traffic by Sydney Taggart, and the sophomore makes it a 3-point lead for the Goals with 3:54 to go. Second quarter here at Community College, and Sawyer Manning. Kaboom!
Not sporting the glasses tonight. She's got the contacts in, just nailing it from 3-ball land.
Love the goggles. I mean, they're going to stick out. There's a Smith pick.
She's going all the way.
And she'll go up with her right hand, lay it up and in.
She is hard to catch in open court like that.
And the 2-point lead, the seesaw battle, goes back to Glacier Peak with 3:24.
Glacier Peak defense coming up big, giving them easy buckets.
And right now you can tell that Darien Riley is out of the ballgame for the Seagulls.
Rasmussen
good give and go.
There.
Back to Sydney, and she'll put it up with her right hand. A beautiful feed. That was definitely a design play on the give and go, and Overstreet wasted no time. Manning long 3, back iron. Rebound is Riley, and here she comes with that left-hand dribble. Stolen away for a second by Smith. The diminutive Smith is doing an outstanding job of keeping inside the kitchen of the taller Sydney Riley, and has done a beautiful job. Already has 1 pick.
Yeah, and right now she's getting her hands on the ball, too. I think she's got that left hand figured out.
And now Darien back into the ball game to kind of anchor that point guard. And Smith will change up her man-to-man and go back on the younger Riley sister. There's a great spin by Sydney Riley along that short corner on that left baseline. Boom, down it goes, and it is a 26-24 Everett lead. And I think every time we've seen a bucket, it's been a lead change here in this second quarter, and it's fun basketball.
Paisley Johnson in, another freshman. Get your pocket pick there.
Turns over. Here's Sydney Riley. They find Hager underneath. One step to the rack. Can't lay it in. Fossey rips down the rebound with a little Windex. Cleans that glass up, and it's 26-24 still with a chance to cut the lead, tie it, or go ahead with a 3-ball. Fossey spins in, puts it up. Bingo!
Using the glass.
Right hand. Sorry, John, over Haggard.
Not a problem.
And I think that's where you're going to get some easy buckets if you're able to find Fossey, who's been largely out of this game up to this point because of foul trouble.
Yeah, especially if they can rotate the balls, swing it from side to side, and she can get somebody hooked and pinned down low. Get her the ball, she can cause you some trouble.
Sydney Riley can't find the handles, and if that's the NFL, that's a pass interference call. Of course, in high school basketball, you can't get the pass through a person. That's your problem. A minute 27 to go, knotted at 26. Smith spins in. She's got some daylight, kicks out. Manning looks at a 3. Here it comes. Bingo! Down it goes, and Manning makes it a 3-point lead, 29-26 with $1:13 to go. Here we go, Peak. Hager.
Easy bucket.
And that is what makes Darian Riley so difficult, as she's able to penetrate into the key, draw the defender, and that time the defender had to step right up and left the man open. Holy smoke, Manning on fire.
That's her third, isn't it?
It is.
9 points for Sawyer Manning, all coming from long range. She's sniping outside.
Somebody feed the beast.
Riley into Riley, step down, left hand, puts it up and in. That's
right over the top of Sades.
Well, and that's a tough thing for Sadie Mensing at 5'10" to try to guard a Sydney Riley at 6 foot, even rather. And we'll see if that is able to be capitalized as Fossey.
Somebody get Keith another beer.
Cracks it open, and it is on the left-hand side this time, and Nicole Fossey. Nikki with the
nice
feed, and here we go. It is fun to watch now. It's a track meet.
That was little sister to big sister there.
And the lead, Glacier Peak, long 3 on the way. No.
Would have counted.
Man, that was some exciting basketball at the end of the half.
Seesaw back and forth, high scoring. I think it was 15-15 when we were in the free throw battle about 3 minutes into that second quarter. And right after that, I don't know what happened. They pulled the lid off the cup, and it became a shooting match at the OK Corral, 34-32 at the half.
Yeah, Manning on fire. That was just amazing. She didn't see a 3-ball she didn't like there. Anytime she was open, draining it. So we're 34-32 at the end of the half. GP up by just a hair.
And you expect this the whole rest of the way, John. I can't imagine anything else but some real quality 3A girls basketball here at the Everett Community College, and it's going to continue. No doubt about it. These two are gunning for each other.
So are we going to take a break here at half, or are we going to call this game?
Well,
we got the 5th graders on. This is some good basketball.
And I have to say one thing about what we're watching here. Of course, they got the 5th grade feeder teams out playing, and it's Everett, the Seagull, 5th grade against the Glacier Peak 5th grade, or they're both Everett schools. They're both the Everett team. But, the Glacier Peak's got a quality feeder program also, and you can really tell the quality of women's basketball. It starts right here, and it's become a trend. It used to be only the elite teams used to have a lot of feeder programs, and now if you're going to be competitive, you've got to field a feeder program.
Yeah, you do. You have to start them in about 4th grade and keep them running and keep as many participating as possible, because you never really know who's going to turn out to be the player, right? So you got to give them the opportunities. You got to teach them, then they got to have some success. You got to build their confidence. That's one of the real important things about girls sports. You got to build their confidence, and if you do that, you'll develop a successful program.
So we will take a break here on STSPN.com. Thanks for being along. It's been a fun ride through one half of women's 3A basketball here in the Western Conference. 34-32, Glacier Peak takes the lead into the halftime locker room over the Gulls of Everett.
3-2.
2-point Glacier Peak lead coming into the third quarter here on STSPN. We've got ourselves a ball game here, folks, at Everett Community College. And we have no doubt it will continue the rest of the way as the regular starters take the floor, and it's a turnover right off the bat for Peak. The Grizzlies will come right back and steal it away from the goals. Glacier Peak, number 3rd in the rankings in the 3A South Division with a 6-2 league record, 13-2 overall, as Taylor Baird has the rack, gets her own rebound, puts it right back up in the face of Katie Headington. And it is a 36-32 lead now for Glacier Peak. And on the other side, the white home team jerseyed Everett Seagulls. Headington off the left-hand side of the post. Can't find it. Fossey with the rebound. They are first in the North Division, although they've lost 2 of their last 3 games with a record of 5-3, 9-6. So even though Glacier Peak is 3rd, they have a much stronger South Division. Fossey with the offensive rebound, steps on the end line.
Both teams still in man-to-man, just slugging it out. I think we've only seen a zone for about 3 seconds in the first half.
Makes for some fun, wide-open basketball, especially on a long college court, when you can get those man-to-man, strong defenses.
And
there's the pick as Mensing picks off her second pass here in the quarter. 6:33 to go. 4-point lead now for Glacier Peak. They've got the leather. Manning with the hot hand will decide to give it to Baird.
Shows that each coach is confident they match up well with the other team, right?
Baird now, pump fake, drives in, blocked by Headington, and here comes Sydney Riley. Stop. Underneath it goes to Sister Darrington, up with that left hand on the right hand on the left-hand side. A beautiful feed, sister to sister, and lead now 2 points for the goals.
They don't even need to talk. They're using sign language or ESP out there.
And it's fun that this has not slowed things down. A little halftime break has not slowed the scoring at all. It's Taylor Baird.
From Smith.
And they give a little eye wink back to one another in the finger point. That's one of those point guard that gives you chills if you get the dime sometimes.
GP still up by 4.
Headington up with the right hand on about a 5-foot on the hash mark. It's fouled by Baird. That'll be Baird's second personal foul.
Both Baird and Fossey were going after her. They were just seeing who could get there to make that foul first. Baird just a little quicker.
Headington has had some success at the free throw line, although she misses that one's 9 points for Headington, the junior. Second in scoring on the goals for the half. Only Sydney Riley eclipses that with 13 points, and she splits the pair. Headington now with 10.
I just realized, Keith, when you look over at that big scoreboard there, you can pick up the girls' scores. They're accumulating their scores on the scoreboard over there.
On the sides, yeah. We're not used to all this high
No,
tech.
this is something else, isn't it?
This is such a nice facility.
Where's my halftime box? Why was it not delivered?
I don't know.
There's a long laid pass picked off expertly by Smith, who knocks it out of bounds. Sydney Riley was looking to get right up quickly before her pocket was picked. Smith, a heady defender, very aware of where she is with her back to the basket.
Everett capitalizing on that scoring opportunity. Every time you get the ball out of bounds underneath your own basket and get a run a set play, it's a scoring opportunity.
And now the 1 point lead underneath. Fossey can't find the range.
Blocked by Hagar.
Perhaps a little bit too far underneath by the time she gathered herself and was able to get up. The rim was right above her, and that's a difficult shot to make.
It's tough. The big kids got to learn not to get pushed completely underneath the cylinder.
However, Glacier Peak will retain possession of the basketball. And in it goes. Up Mensing. Got it! Falling away to her right. Was able to get it off the glass for 2, and Mensing now with 6 points.
Mensing's been loving the baseline shots this year.
Riley straight away. Beautiful rotation on a long shot. Can't get it to fall right side of the rim. And a long lead pass. Smith had a streaking bear down that right-hand side of the key. It looked good to start with.
Then batted away.
Riley, Headington, back to Riley. Now the long kick out. Shot on the way. No, in and out. A long rebound. And the crowd wants to travel there. It wasn't. She was able to get the ball down, and there's we'll call it a long assist. But nonetheless, Sydney Riley is able to get right there with a reverse lane and cut the lead back to 1.
Just being in the right place at the right time.
Taggart had a look at it, left it well short. But Riley was right underneath.
Move.
Up and under it goes.
Capital T making it look easy.
Taylor Baird.
Moves like that are going to set her up in college.
You've got 12.
Thank you. You knew where I was going, Ron.
Yeah.
You tease me a little bit with the telling me
scoreboard.
it's on the big scoreboard. Normally I keep pretty good shot on my paper in front of me, but boy, it's easy to get a little
Lulled into a false sense of security, weren't you?
fell asleep with all the big lit up digits there on that scoreboard. I wanted to go right to it.
Blinded by the lights.
Well, all that confusion, you missed that last basket by Amber Hager right before the timeout there, putting up 4 points for her now. So
It's a 42-41, 1-point ball game. Keeping it interesting.
you can get mesmerized looking at this scoreboard over here, guys.
You can. That's a fun, nice, big, very accurate. I have to say they're doing a good job at keeping the book, keeping the score.
Well, look at them down there on the table. They got an army of people.
Probably bringing in the college folks. You rent the gym, you get the squad.
I mean, there's 7 people down there trying to keep track of this.
After Everett, it's
We only have
Shorecrest.
one.
It's Shorecrest at home. 7:15 start on Wednesday. That's the next up for Glacier Peak, and then Meadowdale will come, or Glacier Peak will be on the road at Meadowdale on the 31st. Those are the next 2. You only have 4 more after this. Feels a little weird. You're that far into the season. It seems like we just started.
Yeah, it goes fast.
Varsity asking for the rock. We'll kick it right back out.
Rasmussen setting things up.
And that's a walk, and an easy one to make as Baird got a little ahead of herself. Rasmussen looked like she had that left-hand dribble into the key.
She just came in. She was a little hesitant to take it.
Didn't want to take the shot early. Taggart to Headington. Down low to Hager. Now out top. Riley will take the shot. Got it! That was 3 feet behind the arc. And she drains it. 44-42.
Just like that, Seagulls take the lead.
And back we go with the back and forth. And I don't know, Ron, if you've been keeping track of lead changes and ties, but you got to roll the abacus over right now.
Too much to keep track of that.
I think so. Here comes Riley. Left-hand dribble. Kicks it out to her sister. It's picked off by Smith. You'll see what Riley can do. Smith to the rack. And the foul. Can't hit the bucket. And Smith is down hard. I don't think it was an intentional foul in that Riley was trying to keep Smith from scoring the basket, but I don't think it was anything flagrant.
No, and she just landed on her elbow a little bit. At least she was able to keep her head off the floor and not get another concussion like she had 4 games back.
Yeah.
Riley with her first personal foul.
It was a good foul, though. Kept her from scoring.
Only the first on the team as Smith steps up and misses the free throw. Sarah Smith, of course, her older sister played a few years prior. Now has really come into her own as a player here. And misses the free throws.
That's what happens when you hit the floor that hard. Still shaking.
Hager with the rebound, kicks it out to Darian Riley, goes it off to Sydney Riley on that right-hand side against the zone defense. And Hager can't hang on to the long pass. And now finally Peak deciding they want to change things up a little bit. Have gone back to the zone for the first time, and it seems like an eternity. We saw it early on, but it's been a while since they've gone back.
Yeah, and it shook Everett up there. They didn't quite know what to do.
2 minutes to go, third quarter, 44-42. Everett on top by the deuce as Smith brings the ball up into the front court. Baird back to Mensing, and Mensing had a good look, got into traffic deep, and drew the body of Katie Headington for the foul.
Got her own rebound, too. They can't give her that many opportunities. She's going to make them pay.
Mensing willed herself to the line right there. That was sheer effort. That put her at the stripe. And the junior now will try to make good on tying this thing up.
Not
They
able
can't
to get
do
the
it.
front end. See if she can clean up the back end of this.
And she does. Splits the pair there. 43-44. Everett with the lead. And the Rock right now. Good 3A basketball in the Western Conference right here for you on STSPN. Riley underneath the Hager. Short corner jump shot. Good look at 8-footer. Can't get it to fall. Here's Smith. Long lead pass to Baird. Takes the left-hand dribble. One stop. Up to the rack. No good. Fossey had the fingertips on it. And here comes Riley. Riley with it again. Younger sister Riley gets into traffic and a block foul will go against Mincing.
Boy, Mincing looked like she was there for a while to me.
You had to say it, and I think you're right.
Look good from up at this level anyway.
Yeah, but it all started with a missed rebound by Fossey. I mean, she had both hands on that ball. She's got to rip that thing.
Just went through the fingertips, perhaps mistimed it. Baird with a steal on the inbound. Darian Riley threw it right to Baird. Mincing now, reverses dribble. She sees some daylight up with the right hand off the glass. Count it! In traffic with a runner, and Mincing has taken control of the paint right now for Peak.
The Gulls were looking at her like they were confused. Nobody wanted to get up and stop her.
45-44, Glacier Peak with the lead and a tie-up on the right-hand side. Mincing shows more energy on the defense, tying up Amber Hager underneath.
Garner and Fatkin checking in for GP.
Baird and Smith retired to the bench with 59 seconds to go, third quarter. Glacier Peak with a 1-point lead. Hager back to Riley. Riley loses her dribble but finds her sister on the left-hand side. Here is Darian Riley, no good, back iron and an offensive rebound. With 48 seconds to go, the shot clock at 26. Darian Riley again, long three, counted off the bank.
Normally you don't see the glass utilized from that kind of range these
She
days.
was leaning to her left, and it just kissed the left-hand side of the square on the backboard.
That was sure a good-looking shot.
47-45. No good there. Sydney to Darian. Now Darian with the right hand. Dribble drive across the timeline. She'll stop and pop. Nobody picked her up. No good. Off the iron on the right. Trying to hustle down is Sydney Riley, and out of bounds it goes with 13.8 remaining third quarter. We'll see what Glacier Peak and Brian Hill can draw up here. No instruction from the head coach. That is Matt Rasmussen. And a three! Kiana Garner! Holy smoke! A 1-point lead! At the end of three, we've got a heck of a ball game.
This is awesome. I'm having a good time.
We probably had 10 or 12 lead changes just by 1 or 2 points here. In this
boy, I'm making fun of it, and boy, they're proving it right here in front of us that it's going to continue. And I can't believe anything but a final 8 minutes of some wall-to-wall, end-to-end, lead-changing basketball.
Yeah, and it's going to wind up right around 60 points, just like they were on the way at halftime, right? They slowed down just a hair, but it's been great basketball.
Speaking of 60, John, these kids are shooting up in the 60% range. I think I got Glacier Peak in here for about 64% and Everett in here at 65% percentage shooting-wise, and that's pretty fantastic for these girls.
That's awesome.
Boy, anytime you can get in the 40s for high school girls basketball, you're usually going to win ball games.
Yeah, but that's not going to do it tonight.
The fact that you're shooting both well over 50% just speaks to the outside shooting of the three balls. Of course, Sawyer Manning is responsible for 3 of them. She's knocked down 9 points with 3 triples. Natalie Rasmussen has a pair of 3s, but largely it's been inside paint points that have attributed to the shooting percentage that Ron
Fossey puts
talked
the ball
about.
Down low.
Jump ball will go back to the Gulls to start the third quarter after an inbound and a turnover by Peak. Glacier Peak, the 1-point lead, 48-47. As Darian Riley will bring it up into the front court for the Gulls and had it knocked away just a little bit as Rasmussen comes out to try to stymie the junior point guard for the Seagulls. Everett to Sydney Riley, a left-hander, a little wraparound pass, a little 5-footer. Count it.
Nice ball movement.
Julie
Way
Ramirez.
to find the open player.
Julie Ramirez comes in, the senior.
And that's some aggressive 2-3 by GP, too.
And a turnover. Here comes Darian. Long lead pass to, or Sydney, long lead pass to Darian, right-hand side. And it's Riley. The connection makes it 51-48 Everett.
Everett pulling ahead a little bit.
Hesitation dribble. Rasmussen drops it back off to the left-hand side. And a little pass off the mark as Fatkin can't find the distance. And the dial-in, she will be replaced by Smith. And Baird also enters the game, replacing Kiana Garner. And for the goals, Sydney Taggart will re-enter. She replaces Overstreet. And we've got 7 more minutes of basketball here at Everett Community College on STSPN. Thanks for being along. And a spin in, no good. That's Amber Hager cannot find the short side.
Baird with the rebound.
And now Rasmussen running the point. They're letting Sarah Smith drift out on the 2 now.
Sarah should have kept rolling around.
Right to the rack. Drew Traffic up with her right hand, no good. As Mensing can't get the basket, but the foul will go against Sydney Riley.
How many is that on Sydney?
That is 2. Nobody really in any kind of foul trouble. Nikki Fossey drew 2 early in the first quarter and had to sit a bit, but since then has been clean.
Sades nails that first one.
As Headington comes in, she'll replace Hager for the goals. And now Mensing goes back to the stripe to make good on a pair of free throws. Good rotation, nothing but the bottom of the well.
Yeah, I heard
on
the net
2
snap on that one.
perfect free throws, 51-50. The lead now cut to 1. There's the stop in the pop, and it is good.
Taggart.
Sydney Taggart comes off the bench and immediately makes good on a bucket to put the 3-point distance between Glacier Peak and Everett. Baird turns in against a double team, kicks it right back out, in and out it goes. Offensive rebound, Fossey has it taken away
by Taggart.
Taggart with some energy off the bench.
Fossey needs to capitalize on those. Those should be easy.
3! No, they counted a 2. Sydney Riley with the 2.
And we're at 55-50, Everett on top.
And now it's crunch time for the Grizzlies. You're going to have to make a statement here, down 5. And Sarah drives off her right-hand foot and out of bounds, and she knew it. And now a timeout. And a good one by Brian Hill to settle his Grizzly squad down. He's got a good side, but he's down 5.
Got to get some stops. The girls got to prevent, GP girls have to prevent the Gulls from scoring. They can't just let them come down and just rain on them.
Well, Sydney Riley, known for their outside shooting, was just inside the arc, or the damage could be a little greater right now. 55-50 the score with about 5 minutes remaining here in the contest.
And Taggart, though, she starts at the three-point line, just a little drive, gets past, and then pulls from the free throw line. That's an easy bucket. You got to be on them, right? You got to make those shots hard.
Sydney Riley run up there with 23 points, leading all scorers for tonight so far.
How many's Taggart got?
It's got 6.
6 for Taggart.
Yeah.
Having a good game. A lot of rebounds.
Actually, I've got 8 for Taggart. I think she just hit the bucket. I had her 6 at halftime, and she just hit a basket.
Oh, heck, give her 10.
But I don't know. They may have
it up there yet.
No, they will keep her at 6. Yeah, I'm just going to make it up.
I had her 6 at halftime, too.
It feels like 8.
I think they missed that one.
Yeah, I think they missed a bucket. But we're going to go official. We'll go off the scoreboard. We'll call it 6.
They got a lot of people down there working. You think they'd have it right?
Everett would love the win here. It would give them a 2-game at 4-4 in the standings. There's the turnaround jump shot, no good. Baird hustles after the rebound, but Rasmussen is the last one that knocked it out. Everett, Stanwood, pretty much out of the running for the district or the North title. Marysville got 2. Baird now with 14 points.
Having a great night. Earning her money.
Headington finds a streaking Taggart Riley, and Riley is fouled going to the left-hand side. And I didn't catch who the foul was on.
Sawyer Manning. It'll be your second one.
And that will send Riley to the free throw line. And will add to her game high, now 24 points for the senior. Make that 25. And the lead back to 5 points, more importantly.
She didn't hesitate at all. Didn't even take her time with those. Just put them in.
It's interesting, of course, to see the rhythms that develop over the course of a career on the free throw line. Fossey with an offensive rebound has another one taken away by Haggart. That out of bounds off Baird's knee.
Fossey got to grab that ball and hang on to it.
She's had 2 offensive boards in this quarter that did just come away. And I think you've got to give props to Amber Hager for making it difficult. There's Riley stopping a pop from about 18. No good.
Sades with the board.
And now you're going to have to make a statement offensively if you're Glacier Peak. Smith to Manning. Baird takes the screen. Great one. Manning with the shot off the glass. Count it. A big bucket for Glacier Peak as Sawyer Manning drops one from the right elbow and cuts the lead to 3.
GP needed that one to stay in this ballgame.
3:50 to go. A good man-to-man matchup for Darian Riley and Sarah Smith, and Riley forces the turnover. Here comes Manning. She'll go up with the right hand, draws the body. No call. Blocked by Taggart, and now a turnover on the other end. Taggart, I think, got the block on the top side, but I think there was some extracurricular down low.
Yeah, there's probably a little body on that, but still, that was an excellent block.
Manning, you knew she was going to go the entire way, and there's a foul. That'll go against Katie Headington.
Yeah, see, you knew Sawyer was going all the way, especially when she had the shoulder on her, right? I mean, she was just a step ahead, so there's no stopping her.
We're a ways from the bonus. Glacier Peak with only 3 team fouls. Everett with only 5. And there is a travel on Nikki.
Manning also with the nickname Tank. Nickname like that, you got to go to the hole.
Reminds me of, who was it, Horace Grant that wore the goggles and was the tank for the Bulls for so long?
Picked off by capital T.
3 straight turnovers. Here comes, make that 4 straight turnovers, is Baird with a double dribble call, and now a timeout by John Lowe for the Seagulls. Wants to talk things over for Everett and settle
things down.
Settle the court down. You've got a couple of teams that are pressing right now, perhaps a little too much.
3-19 and 3-point lead.
Certainly anybody's ball game the way they've been shooting from the outside, but I believe that this fourth quarter has really cut into that hefty shooting percentage in the 60s. As you mentioned, Ron, at about 2 minutes into the fourth quarter, we were at about 60% for both teams, and that goes to Amber Hager. Now back to Sawyer, who can't get inbounds before her feet hit the ground. That's what the ruling is there. She was able to get across the line, but was not down before she was given the ball back.
You want to get both feet in and down, then you can go after the ball.
57-54 with 2:48 remaining in the contest here. Glacier Peak coming in to visit the home court, the temporary home court of the Everett Seagulls. Long runner on the left-hand side. It goes out of bounds off Nikki Fossey.
Nick going up with one hand. You got to grab that thing with 2.
But Headington pulled it down out of her hands and knocked it out. And Peak will get the ball back. Smith across the timeline. Little yo-yo dribble with that right hand. Gets a nice screen from Baird, who rolled. You thought you had some daylight there. No good. Here's the shot by Mensing. 3 on the way. Count it. Good.
Mensing comes up big.
We are knotted at 57. Wow. Riley back to a 3. Taggart can't find it. And Sydney Riley will put it in and count it.
And then fouled by Mensing.
And as sloppy and as out of control and as pressed as these two teams were before that timeout, they have come out gunning.
Yeah, well, it's just as sloppy as it was before. It's like they didn't even retool.
And Riley with the 3-point play the conventional way. will take the 3-point lead, 60-57, and we have a ball game
2 minutes
at
left.
Everett Community College. Holy cow. Mensing, right hand, into traffic, walked with a basketball, and I think everybody in the gym saw it. You may not want to admit it. Might have been a bump, and that may be what elicited the cat calls from the Glacier Peak crowd. There was some contact there. I think it's a good no call. I think you're going to get a lot more body in the last minute 46 of this one. Smith gets behind the screen, and good man-to-man pressure by Sarah. Here's the shot on the left-hand side by Hager, no good. She's got to step up, have some confidence, and knock that down.
Yeah, it looked hesitant, then rebounded by Big T.
Manning into Fossey. Kick out to Smith. Takes a stab in on Darian and brings it out. She'll reload the offense. Here's Sawyer. Stop. Thought about the three. Put it back in. Into the double team. Tough call. Trying to split the wickets.
Yeah, just a little late on that. She was open.
Baird had Fossey crossing the lane. But by the time the eye contact was made, it was too late to get a pass in there, and she was lucky it wasn't a foul call.
Yeah, at that point it should have been a fake and then go over the top to her, right? Because there was no weak side help.
Timeout on the floor here on STSPN and STSPN.com. Thanks for being along. We've got a heck of a ball game for you unfolding before our eyes. 60-57 with the Everett Seagulls on top by 3 over the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. And this one has implications. If it can come away with this, they put some good distance between themselves and second place, and other than a complete collapse, are probably the favorite with the number 1 seed coming out of the north.
Yeah, they'd basically be padding their lead, right? Giving themselves some buffer, which is exactly what you'd like. Take a little bit of the pressure off.
Stanwood right behind them, nipping at their heels. And that one could be a battle right down to the very end. Glacier Peak, on the other hand, having already lost to the 2 teams ahead of them in league play, really need a W here in order to maintain some space below them, keep the players and teams below them at bay, and really make a charge with the last week and a half to go.
Absolutely, to set yourself up as best as possible for postseason play.
3 points the difference.
We got a minute to go here, so we're going to have a player of the game. It's going to be a game-winning shot from Glacier Peak. Is that what we're looking at, guys?
It's right now. If it's going to be the Everett Seagulls, I got to go with Sydney Riley. I think she is the one that has really taken the peak, or the not Glacier, on her shoulders for this one. But boy, yeah, I have to thank Ron that if it comes down to the end, there is a big bucket by Sydney Taggart to make it a 62-57 ball game under a minute now. Into Baird, spins in, left hand up to the rack.
And if you're talking GP, you'd have to go with Taylor Baird right now.
Yep.
She wants it.
She's been getting it done all night long.
Taylor Baird, the senior, 6'1", and right now she does not want to go in as the number 3 seed out of the West Coast South.
Yeah, and I think she's got a season high of 16 right now. I think that's her best game yet.
That's what she's got tonight, 16 tonight. So,
well, if you're Brian Hill right now, you've got to go back on defense with 40-some seconds to go, I believe, 48 seconds, I believe, on the clock when the timeout was called, and you have a 3-point disadvantage. Where are you going, John?
I'm going outside. I gotta give it to Manning and let her shoot. Or does he have Rasmussen in? No.
You have fouls to give, and that may be actually against you on defense. Right now you only have 4 team fouls. You're going to have to foul 3 times before you head to the stripe, or at least you force the Seagulls to go to the free throw line. That
takes a lot of clock to get that many fouls off.
And a lot of missed free throws by Everett.
That's right. So do you foul right off this inbound just to get one out of the way?
You may.
48.6 seconds go up on the clock.
So we got Rasmussen in, Manning down, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you got Mensing, Baird, Smith, Fossey,
and Rasmussen.
And Mensing on the floor. And there's that first foul we talked about.
Got it out of the way.
Very smart foul by Sarah Smith. And you may just see another one right here. Get it into Sydney Riley. She'll cross up into the double team, and there's the foul. But it took you 7 seconds to do.
Too much time.
And you still aren't shooting free throws. Natalie with the foul. Right now, really nobody in foul trouble that is worrisome for Glacier Peak. The fouls are in part just to get the Seagulls to the free throw line. There's the steal. Baird goes to Fossey.
Got to do something.
Long lead pass. Out it goes to Rasmussen, and Smith will set it up with 34 seconds to go, and we've got a Brian Hill timeout on the floor.
A good timeout by Brian Hill. He didn't have anything set up there. They need to get that play set up for that three-point shot.
32.8 seconds to go. Glacier Peak down 3. They have the basketball.
And you see Manning coming in. If I was him, I'd put Manning and Fatkin in. That way you have 3 three-ball shooters in.
And he's got Manning coming in for sure.
And he'll keep Rasmussen. He's probably sitting Smith down.
Manning, 3 for 4 from downtown tonight. All of her 9 points by way of the long ball.
It'll be interesting to see what Hill sets up here. You got John Rasmussen with the chalkboard right now.
You know, a three-point shot here could put this thing into overtime. We could
bonus basketball.
We're getting our money's worth either way.
High definition money's worth.
And if you're watching STSPN right now on the live stream, this is one you're going to want to go back and watch. Make sure you go back there and watch any of these games on demand. Go back and check out the archive on STSPN.com.
And be sure to click the tip jar button if you're on the website. We'd really appreciate it. You should put one of those on there, Todd.
Yeah, I know. That's a great idea. Inbound it goes to Rasmussen. Right-hand dribble on the right-hand side. They get it to Manning. She's got a shot. Long ball on the way. Boom!
Oh,
we go!
Did we call it?
Sawyer Manning with a dagger at 62. We are tied up with 20.7 seconds to go. Holy cow!
P.O.G.
I think we're in the mind of Coach Hill down there tonight. We called that one up good.
That could be your player of the game right there.
I wouldn't have a problem with that at all.
A design play and underpin of the girl trying to guard Sawyer Manning as they came from left to right across the key. Sawyer drew the double screen, was able to free loose Rasmussen without a moment to waste, found her.
Yes.
And it was nothing but the money at the bottom of the well.
Yeah, but you got both her and Rasmussen in, so they got to worry about both of them, so that kind of shakes things loose, right? And then the double screen, she had a good 6 feet on that girl, plenty of room to get that ball off. That nice high arc she has gives it every possibility of going in.
Now if you're Brian Hill, you want your fouls to give back. You wish you could have them in your pocket.
Yeah.
Because if you can stop the clock at any moment with a foul. Now you can't.
Let her run.
And we're going to see our last second shot out of the goals. We'll see what they draw up here. Darian Riley, and we've got a timeout on the floor with 12.2. A good timeout by Coach John Lowe. 2 very well-coached teams. This is a very good chess match showing up right here in the waning moments of regulation. It's straight strategery.
Strategery, yeah. So what kind of a play you think he's going to call up down there from the sideline inbound play?
He's going to get the ball to 22.
That's exactly what he's saying. You're going to get a high screen at a 22 on the left-hand side about the elbow extended free throw line. It's going to go right to Sydney Riley. Right-hand dribble drive, long lean in. See if you can get the finger roll and the W.
That's exactly. You're just going to find any way to get the ball in her hands because that's exactly where you want it.
You heard it from the broadcast crew up here at high altitude in.
Boy, it's oxygen seating.
Yeah, nosebleeds.
You got to brush off the snow before you call a ball game up here. Great vantage point.
Oh,
they get the ball in, knocked out of bounds.
Nice defense by the
Taggart tried to find Darian Riley. Only .4 come off the clock. It's now at 11.8 seconds. And we'll see what. There's the screen play. They get it in underneath. Stolen away! And a timeout on the floor with 9.8 seconds to go. They tried to get it to Katie Headington, and Sarah Smith with him. The pick, the pocket pick.
The squirrel got the nut on that one.
Yes, she did.
She's been finding that all day long. And right now, nothing against Sawyer Manning. She hit probably could be the game difference in that 3-ball. It certainly changed the way that Coach John Lowe had to draw things up for the goals in those last 2 timeouts.
Making him work.
But Sarah Smith, I think, is every bit as worthy as a Player of the Game award.
Absolutely.
Purely on the way she's played defense in the last 12 minutes of basketball.
And that's only if you're thinking GP, right? If you're thinking Everett for that POG, you're looking at Riley.
We got the tall girls in here for this play. Taylor and Nikki are in there down low. So
it's all about possession and burning clock. You're at 62 all, 4.8 seconds.
Everett in the full court press.
I guess
here.
you're going to go for the win, but
9.8 seconds to go. Plenty of time to get the ball up the court. Most guards can get up the court in about 4.5 seconds. Here is Smith trying to find Baird. Clock at 2. Thrown away, and we've got overtime.
Oh, man. Well, like we said earlier, we're going into bonus time, baby.
Bonus basketball here at Everett Community College. A 34-32 lead by Glacier Peak going into halftime. So the goals outscoring only by 2 the rest of the way here in the second half.
it has been tight.
And we've got a ball game in women's basketball, 3A, in the 60s. 10 years ago, I don't think we could say that.
Definitely
Yeah,
not.
absolutely.
That's just how far women's basketball has come.
And one of the things you got with this overtime now that you don't normally see at this point in the game is that none of these girls are in really foul trouble. Only 2 girls on Everett got 3 fouls, and one on Glacier Peak has 3 fouls. So there's nothing to worry about it from the foul point standpoint going into overtime.
Sadie Mensing with 3 personal fouls. Everybody else on the floor right now with 2. You've got Sydney Riley and Katie Headington with 3 fouls for Everett. That's what you mentioned, the 2 that you mentioned, Ron.
Right.
And 2 is where you should be. If you don't have 2 fouls by the end of the 4th quarter, you haven't been playing tough enough defense.
That's right. You haven't been playing defense. So we'll tip things up again.
4 minutes of exciting basketball here tonight.
We've already seen some heroics.
Oh, you're going to see some more.
And you'll probably see some more in the final 4 minutes here.
We're gonna
As
catch it all
Headington and
uphill.
Fossey will jump things up at center court, and Fossey wins the battle. Smith, top of the key, man-to-man defense employed by Everett.
They've been man-to-man all night long.
Smith almost lost the handle there, and now Riley will step out on her.
Good defense. by
Here
the
goes
Bills.
Smith to the rack, 1 step, foul call. Headington got her. And Smith will go to the line to shoot a very important pair of free throws.
Until Smith was able to break loose, that was some excellent defense by Everett.
Amber Hager picks up her 2nd personal foul, so she's not in trouble. And that will put Glacier Peak in the bonus the rest of the way here in overtime as Smith misses the first of 2.
Free throws could be the difference in this ball game. You have to remember,
Missed them both. Baird with a rebound. No good. Blocked by Headington. Hager finally finds Taggart, and here come the goals. Sydney Riley. Left-hand dribble, gets a screen, kicks it out to Darian. 3 on the way. It should be short. It is. You could tell by the angle it left her hand. It wasn't coming off clean. I think she rushed the shot a bit. And now Peak will set things up. Tied at 62 still. Baird lost the handle, trying to find Fossey, who's double-teamed underneath. Long 3 on the way, no good. Taggart with the rebound.
and now the scoring well appears to have dried up on us.
And again, we talk about the turnovers as Haggard gets it back. Out of Headington. Back out top to Taggart. Turnovers equal possessions. And how would you like to have 4 possessions back at the end of this one?
Absolutely.
Long offensive rebound. Back it goes to Haggard. Shot on the way, no good. Fossey with a rebound, and she's fouled by Taggart.
Yeah, it's a game of probability, right? And you need every chance to get one of those shots where you're only shooting, 40 to 50%, right? So every opportunity to make a basket.
And if you're shooting like you have tonight, let's say it is 50%, all you really needed was one more possession,
Yep.
maybe two, and you've got to win.
One or two turnovers or one or two more steals.
Or a few more of those missed free throws by Glacier Beach that we've seen tonight. Like
Free
that
throws,
one.
yeah.
And Fossey can't hit.
That's going to come back to haunt GP. 3 missed points right
0
there.
for 3 from the stripe tonight. Taggart, hesitation dribble, draws the double team. Sawyer with the knockaway. Here's Taggart once again, baseline, has it stolen away. Smith will get credited with the steal, but I think Manning was the one that dislodged it.
Twice.
2:15 remaining in overtime. We're still where we were at the end of regulation at 62 apiece.
Haven't had a score.
Mensing to the rack, settles in nicely. A nice soft touch on the roller and the runner in the lane. And it's 64-62 Peak. Timeout. John Lowe will take the timeout. He's got 1 remaining. Everett, has 2 remaining. Glacier Peak with only 1. And Everett now will try to see what they can do with 2 minutes to go.
You were right the first time. That was his second timeout, so he's got 1 left.
He does have
now.
1. Okay.
So, the tension is building down there on the court, guys.
It's building up here. Are you kidding me?
I'm nervous.
I feel it too, and I don't have a dog in the race. This is a fun one.
If I wasn't tethered to this court, I'd be pacing up and down the sideline here.
Oh, just long as you don't go over the railing, man.
Yeah, it's a long drop from up there on the track.
So if you haven't been to Everett Community College, they've got a running track, a very nice facility, athletic facility with a lot of weightlifting, a lot of running tracks around here, a swimming pool, the whole 9 yards. And, of course, the track is where we're located, about the 50-yard line above the score table. That's our vantage point.
Yeah, when he says above, he means 2 stories above.
At least 2 stories
we're
above.
50 feet off the floor here.
And it's fun. It feels like you're in the press box.
Absolutely. It's a great vantage point. You can see all the play develop on the court.
Skycam basketball.
A minute 55 left on the clock as Everett inbounds in front of the student section. Glacier Peak traveling well. Get it into Riley. Riley will back down. Now the kick out to Haggart. Long lead pass. Overstreet. There's the Taggart shot. It is good.
Ties it up.
Just inside the arc. It's a 2-point conversion. Did they give her 3? They put 3 up on the board, 65-64. I think it was a 2. We'll see how they do that.
That college stripe throws us off.
And a turnover by Peak. Here comes Sydney Riley. Does she have the leaders at ties? Stolen away by Baird, but a foul call.
He was out of position to make that call.
They get the score corrected on the 2-point conversion, 64-64.
With Riley at the line. Shooting 1 and 1.
She'll drop both those.
Sydney Riley with 29 game high. Money. Make it 30. Nice round numbers.
Yeah, she's a confident free throw shooter, that's for sure.
3 dribbles, no hesitation,
Boom.
nothing but net. 2-point Everett lead, 66-64 with 1:14 to go. Baird with it. Right, left hand goes to the rack. Up it goes and score it. Taylor Baird.
She switched hands in there, went with the right, I think.
16 points for Baird. Make that 18 points for Baird. Taggart along that right-hand side. Back to Darien. And the younger Riley will reload the offense. Shot on the way. Overstreet. Count it!
Nice!
A 3-bomb from Carolyn Overstreet. And it's a 1-point Everett lead. 3-point Everett lead, 69-66.
GP with the ball.
Baird, left hand, out of bounds and tipped. Last by Everett, it'll be Glacier Peak basketball with 33.4 on the clock.
That was Carolyn Overstreet's first
Points of the game.
Yeah, I think probably her first shot, maybe her second at total.
Rasmussen comes in. And she will replace Baird.
We're going to do for the 3-point shoot here.
Somebody's got to get open.
Manning out to Smith.
There she is in the middle.
Back to Rasmussen now. Long three straight away. Money!
This is crazy.
Natalie Rasmussen drops another bomb.
Gosh, his bomb's dropping all over the place.
That was a howitzer.
Yeah, it was. That was pro three-point range there.
69-69, 14 seconds to go. Sydney Riley, stop and a pop. Boom.
Nailed it.
Cool, calm, collected. Money.
I think that was the winning basket right there.
That may be.
You never know about
33 points for the Elder Riley.
You can score 2 points in 7 seconds without blinking here, guys. So
well, we just saw it.
Yeah.
Sawyer Manning with about 3 seconds left on the clock in regulation.
And Natalie Rasmussen with that dropped that last three.
I'm struggling up here.
I don't have words. It's been an amazing basketball game. I mean, you can't beat this for entertainment in the evening. That's for sure.
This is almost as good as drinking beer down in Fred's Ale House, guys.
Yeah,
well, Ron, be realistic.
Maybe a little.
I'm not going to argue with him. 71-69 is our score here with 7 seconds to go in the first overtime. And I say first because we thought we would be done at the end of regulation.
Yes.
And right now going back to pick up the basketball in their possession will be the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. They've got a court distance in front of them to tie this thing up.
Baird's back in.
And they play a soft full court man-to-man pressure. Rasmussen with the basketball. Tries to find Smith and does. Three on the way. Got it.
That is great!
With the win!
They got the
win! Glacier Peak wins the ball game, and that, folks, is your player of the game.
Sarah Smith. Early for all the defensive moves and all that, right? And now she comes through with the points.
Foreshadowing.
Oh, yeah. That's good stuff.
Run.
72-61. Glacier Peak with the win over Everett in a stunner. An instant classic, if you will, on STSPN.
Yeah, this is the game to come back and watch, folks.
Unbelievable.
Over and over again.
7.2 seconds on the clock, down by 2. Sarah Smith will inbound the ball to Rasmussen. Rasmussen dribbles the length of the court, gets into a double team, and is able to split between it and find Sarah Smith, who has a Glacier Peak Seagull gunning at her. And without hesitation, puts the ball right through the basket. Nothing but the bottom of the cup. Glacier Peak win. You couldn't draw up a game any better if you tried.
Yeah, absolutely fabulous basketball game.
And if you're Everett,
there was nothing to
you can't hang your head.
No.
You're stunned.
No.
You're at a loss, but you can't fault your team for giving anything but 100% effort out there. You had it won. Both teams had it won 2 and 3 times before the final.
Yeah, easily. I mean, it was a fabulous game. Everett played great. They got to think they can do this again, right? I mean, and here we are with Ron.
You got me live? Here we go. Okay, this is Ron Henthorne down here with Sarah Smith. Sarah, you're really excited.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
You can hardly talk, my dear.
Yeah, I'm a little tired.
That was one fine shot to win this ball game for Glacier Peak tonight.
Thank you. We had many of those, though, throughout the night. Our teammates just worked really hard, and we had a ton of going into the... Sorry.
You can hardly breathe. Take your breath, dear. So, a great team effort by all the kids tonight. That's what you wanted to say, right?
Yes, thank you.
A lot of 3 points from Sawyer and Natalie.
Yes.
And a lot of good inside shots by Natalie, by Nikki.
And Taylor. Oh, my gosh, they did so good. It was really a team win.
But you were a spark out there tonight, stealing the ball and staying in every game.
Thank you.
Sarah, you're our player of the game. Kathy Salvolino, player of the game.
Awesome.
Hold that shirt up. Let your mom take a look at that and say, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you so much.
This is Ron Henthorne for Glacier Peak. Back to you up in the booth, guys.
Boy, very excited. She's at a loss for words and has every right to be. How often do you get to step up in a big ball game like this and drain the game-winning shot from distance?
If you're lucky once in a high school career, right? It doesn't happen very often.
Is Sarah Smith going to forget this the rest of her life?
Oh, my
Never.
gosh.
Never.
I don't think I'm going to forget it.
Plus, we got it all, so she can watch it again.
And an absolute fun basketball, a ping pong, back and forth, tennis match, slug out, shootout. I don't know what you want to say about this ball game, but a fantastic ball game through 4 and change quarters.
You know, we thought we had the game of the year between Everett and Jackson. And I got to tell you, I think this one beats that.
And I agree with you, Todd. That game very eerily similar. And Everett comes out on the short end of the stick, having led the majority of the game. This time, it comes down to the final 7 seconds.
Final second. That was unbelievable. I don't even have words for it.
And this is going to set the girls' confidence up for the rest of the season and going into postseason play.
So Glacier Peak moves to 7-2. Only ahead of them is Mount Lake Terrace at 7-1. Shorecrest at 7-1, also tied for the number 1 in the 3A South, are the Scots. And Mount Lake Terrace, the Hawks are right there in it too. So you've got pretty much a 3-horse race in the Wesco 3A. This makes things very interesting in the North 3A. Everett now falls to 5-4. Stanwood is at 4-4. So those two, it's anybody's picnic. And behind them, Marysville, Pilchuck, Marysville, Getchell, and Oak Harbor, really with 3 wins between the 3 teams, pretty much out of the picture. But Stanwood has got to be licking their chops right now.
Yeah, Stanwood right on the heels of Everett, just waiting for them to make another mistake, right?
Oh, holy cow, I almost don't want to give it back and say so long, but it has been a fantastic ball game. This is one on STSPN. You're going to want to go back and view again and again. And we're going to say goodnight, but not without putting the scoreboard right in front of you one more time. 72-71. Glacier Peak with the W over the Everett Seagulls.
Get your heartbeat back down to normal rate now.
Get your
heartbeat back down to normal rate, Keith.
Ron and John, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having the chatty Kathy up here, joining you the whole way. Todd Elvig, of course, our executive producer. Watch the hit count jump through the roof, my man.
Yeah, that is right. Oh, it's unbelievable.
Good night and be well. Glacier Peak with the win by 1.
Good night, everybody.
Great job, Keith.